Good afternoon, my awesome friends. It's Wednesday, and every Wednesday we join in with my awesome friend here for budget meals under $5. Yes, under $5. And it takes Grandma 3 meals to get that under $15 because she can't do it with just one. And let's see what my awesome friend did. She got something together, as you can see, that looks really, really good. So if you want to see what she put together for under $5, go over and check out what she did today. And she does these budget meals every single week on Wednesday. Anyone can join in. It's an open collab. Please check out the playlist and see what everyone came up with. These days, we have to stay on budget the best we can. Food prices keep going up. Hopefully this inspires you to go into the kitchen and find something inexpensive to throw together and make something fabulous. Well, let's go see what Grandma did this week. I cooked up a half a box of bow pasta, and that's the beginning of our pasta salad. This is the butter I used, but you can use any butter you want or not at all, whatever you want to do. You can use margarine or even oil if you'd like. But this is what I'm using. I am using a half a stick of butter, and I cut up some green onions, and I'm going to also be doing a package of baby bell mushrooms. Now these are going to be used for 2 different meals, so we're going to divide the cost over 2 meals. I'm going to saute my mushrooms in a half a stick of butter. And to make it melt a little quicker and to cook this a little bit quicker, I cut my butter in 4ths out of the half stick. And I did put the whole package of baby bells in here, and it's going to be used for more than one dish. And I also used a half a package, well I shouldn't say package, but bundle of green onions. And I only used a half of the top of the onions because I'm using the other for another dish. And I used half of the bottom of the onions totally. Now you can do this any way you want. I'm just trying to stretch my dollars and my pennies as much as I can. But I want to keep that flavor as much as I can also. I used a half a package of these small little tomatoes, a nice little variety, a half of that stick of butter, and there's still some onions left. And of course some chives to go in our macaroni salad. So I think we've got a really good meal starting here, and I can't wait to put it together. Now we have one more thing. We're going to add some tuna to the salad also. And here we have 1 can of tuna. I bought the large can. Let's see if we can see the weight on it. The weight was 12 ounces, and it was only $1 more buying the big can over the small can, and the small can only had 5 ounces. So for an extra $1, I got 7 ounces more. So I thought it was really worth, instead of buying 2 small cans, 1 large can, and I can use my extra tuna in my macaroni salad, and we're going to make another dish with tuna out of the same can. I forgot to mention, I always buy chunky white albacore. I like it. It's a better quality tuna. It is a little more expensive, but like I said, there's just 2 of us, and there's nothing wrong with making sure we have lots to keep us busy and strong and healthy. We need to have good quality food, and a lot of times just adding a little extra money from the cheaper brands is you're paying for the quality, and I think it's worth it. Now, if you're feeding a large family on a small budget, maybe you can't afford it. There's just 2 of us. But even when we had a family here, I still bought the chunky white albacore because I always enjoyed this tuna better, along with chicken breast and all meat bologna. There's just some things that I always spend the extra money for. Some things I really don't care. But meat is one thing I do try to buy better quality. Well, we're done cooking our onions and our mushroom. I'm going to leave them in the pan for right this minute until we're ready to use them. I used 2 heaping spoons of Miracle Whip mayonnaise in this pan. I'm also being lazy. I don't want to wash any more dishes than I have to. And now we're going to start mixing all of our ingredients together. And here is that half a can of tuna, and as you can see, I still have a half a can left to use for another dish. Now I seasoned everything with a little lemon pepper and some Italian seasonings. And I'm going to, you can put this on as you're going to eat it, or you can mix it like I'm doing ahead of time. And this will make 4 servings, generous servings, 2 for my husband and 2 for me. So we will have lunch for 2 days on what I put together in this pan. We still have tomatoes left for another meal. We also have half of avocado still left, and we still have half a stick of butter, and we still have some more green onions for another dish. I thought we did pretty good. What do you think? And we're going to show you what we're going to do with this. That's how I can get my meals under $5, because I keep using things I already have until they're gone. Waste not, want not. This is an oversized bowl, so it isn't too small, even though it may look like it's hardly got anything in it. It's a pretty big bowl. So we're going to try this wonderful, got a tomato, got pasta, I've got a little bit of avocado, and of course the baby bell mushroom. Well, let's give it a try. That tuna was so good, with that wonderful little baby miniature tomato. Those mushrooms just give the added taste. Just adding a few little extra treats. And really, you can stay on a budget, as you're going to see. I just love it. You know I'm still chewing it. Those mushrooms, even though I pay a little more for the baby bells, from the white mushrooms, but they have so much more flavor. I could have easily cut those mushrooms up into small little pieces and even stretched it more if I wanted to. But I love the full flavored mushrooms. They are so good. Give this menu a try and see how you can stretch your dollars but still eat fabulous, full of flavor. And just add the seasonings that you like. Lemon pepper is one of my favorites, and Italian seasoning. That was the only 2 seasonings I used in this dish. And everything is so flavorful. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me put this pasta salad together. We went a little over budget on it. We went to $6.35, and that's for 4 servings, so that brings it down to about $1.60 a serving. But it was full of flavor and lots of yumminess. I made quite a few other recipes the same day I made this, for we could have 3 recipes to share with you and bring it under $15. The trouble was, my video ended up so long, I'm going to have to do a 2 or 3-parter. I haven't tried putting any more together. This one alone went way over. But as you can see, I used a lot of packaging, like the mushrooms. I used it for 3 separate meals, so that ended up being $1 for each meal. The butter, I only used a half a stick of butter, and so that meant it was a little bit cheaper too. And the onions, the green onions, I also only used about 1/3 in this recipe too, so that brought it down to probably like 15 or 20 cents. So that's how I get them down a little bit cheaper. And then I only used a half a box of pasta, So that brought it to about $1 for the pasta. And we just tried to do it as cheap as we can and have as much flavor. And the same with the tomatoes. They were $2.99, $1.99. They were on sale, and I used it for 2 recipes, so that brought it down to $1 per recipe also. So there was a lot of things that I used partial a thing. And the tuna, I mentioned in the video that tuna was, I think $3 or $3.50, something like that. And I used a half a can, and it was cheaper to buy to buy the larger can, because for $1 more, I got 7 ounces. And that's something else you need to be aware of. You need to look at the quantity, not just the price. And it's better to me to go ahead and spend the extra money, get the better quality tuna. We could have easily got this recipe in budget if I hadn't used the tuna, if I hadn't used the mushrooms. And so I added several things that are a little different. And then, of course, I also added an avocado. That was also another 50 cents. The avocado was $1, and I only used a half of it. That's why it was only 50 cents. And I used the other half for something else, because that's what I try to do. Show that you can do more than one meal. You don't have to use the whole can of tuna, because it's a big can. You don't need to use the whole thing of tomatoes. And when I was done, I still had a few tomatoes left that we were able to put in another dish. So we did pretty good repurposing what we had. Like I said, the only reason why I didn't give you more than one recipe today is this one took so long to put it together, and how much time it took me. The video would have just been so long, nobody would have watched it. So we will probably put some more recipes up next week, and but we're going to be using the cost of this. And like I said, those mushrooms, I divided up between 3 different recipes. I even made a mushroom soup out of one, so you'll have to come back and see how that turned out. And I know the pan doesn't look like it's got much in it, but this is a big pan, and it made 4 generous servings of pasta. And I made a different pasta salad also, and it wasn't much difference in price than what the tuna salad was. But you just do the best you can, and I'm showing you that there was still plenty of tuna left for another tuna dish. And lemon pepper and Italian seasonings are always my go-to. I put the dry seasonings into that pasta salad just as is. I like the flavor of those seasonings, and I use it in a lot of stuff. As you can see, I threw everything in. Nothing was cooked into the meal. The only thing that I cooked at all in this meal was the actual pasta. That was it. Everything else, I take it back. I cooked the mushrooms too, and some of the green onions. But most of this I was just trying to get by with at least a little amount of mess as I could make, and to have the most flavor that I could have. Those mushrooms really do add a lot of flavor to the meals. So let me know if you tried these out. And we do a lot of pasta and rice meals because we're trying to live on a budget. And that's how you do it. You try to stretch those dollars out, and you try to make things be as yummy as you can, but you need to keep it in budget. And it's possible. It's not like it isn't possible. Like I said, I went over a little, but when you figure out it was like $6.35, but it was 4 servings, so that brought it to $1, about $1.60 per serving. And if you figure, like, if I had 2 servings, that would be way under $5. And as you can see, that food was so good. And that's what we got to do, guys. We got to start thinking out of the box a little bit, how we can put a meal together and have it really yummy. It's possible. It really is. And a lot of these things that I didn't finish using on this video, I'll be using on next week's video, but I filmed it all the same day. Because Grandma never wants to cook one meal. I always cook 2 or 3 meals at a time because I don't want to cook all the time. So that's what I'm telling you. There's lots of things out there to do, and bring things in budget and make things interesting. And sometimes we spend a little extra, like on the tuna and the mushrooms. But I'm telling you, this was wonderful. The avocado, just using avocado and taking away the mushrooms and the tuna, you would have been way under budget. because all the rest was just mayonnaise, tomatoes, and it would have been in budget with no trouble and been way under. So anyway, I thought we did pretty good. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Hope you're enjoying these videos that I'm putting together, sharing what I buy at the grocery store on Friday and see how little I spend there. And then I share the recipes on Wednesday, what I put together. And sometimes, usually, I make 2 to 3 recipes per video. Today, only 1. But there's always next week, and we will have something else yummy for you to eat. Hugs and kisses to all my awesome friends. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for all your love and support. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, this is an open collab. Anyone can join in. You can join in once in a while or all the time on Wednesday. It can be anything, $5 or less. Or like me, you go out of budget a little bit.